What's going on, everyone? So, one of the teams that I said I did not want to play in the first round were the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Obviously, once we played Minnesota, we found out we were playing Minnesota. Of course, I did my breakdowns on why I thought the Lakers could beat Minnesota, why I'm taking the Lakers to beat Minnesota, because I did think the Lakers would beat Minnesota, but I didn't like the matchup. And you saw why all series, right? One of the things that I talked about was the physicality, the size, and just the athleticism and toughness that Minnesota brings. Minnesota is one of the worst matchups for pretty much every team because they are big, physical, versatile, right? Great bench. Like, they are a very complete team. And I didn't mind playing Minnesota at some point down the road, right? If you play them in the conference finals, something like that, that's fine. But the idea was by then you've gotten a couple matchups under your belt. You've kind of worked on some things. Austin Reeves has built some confidence throughout the playoffs. Luka and LeBron have kind of built that understanding and that chemistry, right? JJ Redick's got his bearings and his understanding in, right? Like role guys have built confidence, right? Like, it's very different when you play a team in the first round compared to the third round. And I just thought Minnesota was one of the worst first round matchups for the Lakers in the Western Conference. One of the things that I've talked about very heavily is how important matchups are in the playoffs in particular. Because when you look at matchups, right, last year was an excellent example of matchups. And more often than not, it's about role guys showing up, right? Like, you look at Denver versus the Lakers. Denver's guys show up, Lakers don't, Denver advances, okay? Denver guys don't show up, Minnesota's does, Minnesota advances. Minnesota's guys don't show up, Dallas's guys do show up, Dallas advances. Dallas guys don't show up, Boston's guys shows up, Boston advances. It was that simple, right? Matchups are important, matchups are key, and I just thought Minnesota was a very bad matchup for the first round. Now, again, I thought the Lakers could still overcome it. The reason I thought the Lakers could overcome it is because I thought the Lakers' flaws and holes were easier to mask and harder for Minnesota to overcome than Minnesota's flaws for the Lakers, right? So I thought the Lakers would have an easier time kind of getting over the lack of size and the little hump that you needed, more than the Minnesota Timberwolves would have been able to overcome the Lakers and their mismatches and advantages. And that wasn't the case, right? Lakers weren't able to play Rudy Gobert off the court, right? Guys didn't hit shots, right? I had very specific keys on how the Lakers were going to win this series. None of those things happened. Talking about guys need to hit shots with consistency. Luka and LeBron need to be transcending. Austin Reeves needs to be great. Austin Reeves was unplayably bad. Role players were not indeed hitting shots and were inconsistent and were all over the place and weren't what this team needed them to be. And it was very frustrating. It was very disappointing to see all season. Right? We weren't able to contain Anthony Edwards. We weren't able to overcome the holes and flaws and advantages that Minnesota had. Minnesota was able to overcome ours. They were able to essentially take Austin Reeves completely out of the game, out of the series, right? Keep the role guys out from exploding and us blowing them out, right? And was able to keep Luka and LeBron semi-balanced, right? And like Anthony Edwards, I think you could make a genuine argument. I don't even really think it was an argument, but he was the best player in the series. I mean, Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle gave you enough production and were good enough in this series that they essentially washed out LeBron and Luka, right? So at that point, it comes down to role guys. Well, when Austin Reeves, who was supposed to be your third guy and was literally talked about like half the season about is he the best third guy in the league, and that best third guy in the league just doesn't show up, that's what happens. And you look at Minnesota, Jaden McDaniels showed up, Nas Reed showed up for games. Dante DiVincenzo showed up for games. Mike Conley, right? Like, that's the difference. This was a game about role guys, and one team's role guys showed up. The other teams didn't. That simple. That straightforward. That easy, right? And it's incredibly frustrating because I do think the Lakers in many ways beat themselves. I do think the Lakers had a genuine opportunity to win that series and should have won that series. This series easily could have finished 4-1 Lakers. Lakers were in every one of those last 3 games, and the Lakers blew all of them. Now look, give Minnesota some credit. Tip your cap to them because they were the ones that had to show up. They were the ones that had to seize those moments. They're the ones that had to capitalize on the opportunity. And those fourth quarters, one team showed up and one team didn't. And it was, again, very disappointing to watch this Lakers team. And again, I just thought the Minnesota matchup was a very, very bad matchup for the Lakers. Again, I took the Lakers to win. I took them to win in 6, right? But, I thought if they won the 2 home, I thought if the Lakers won game 1 and 2 at home, I thought that they would win it in 5. But I said 6 is probably most realistic, right? Granted, I didn't think even if Minnesota won this series, I didn't think that they would I didn't think that they were going to beat the Lakers in the fashion in which they beat them. I didn't. I don't think anyone really did, right? I mean, you get the haters, they're like, Wolves in 5. Like, stop. Like, you didn't. I don't think anybody if you were a Wolves fan, maybe, but outside of that, people are just talking, right? But again, credit Minnesota. Lakers failed to show up a lot, right? Like, a lot of them just beating the Lakers was just them out working the Lakers, out hustling. And you can't have the size disadvantage, the physicality disadvantage. You start going down the checklist. You can't start checking all this stuff off and then also get outworked, outplayed, out-hustled, out everything. It just doesn't work that way. You're not winning very many You're not winning very many series. You're not winning very many games that manner. And it was very disappointing to see this Lakers team just essentially fold. And they did it time after time after time after time. But season's over. All you can do is move on, take your lump, take your L, move into the offseason, make the corrections, the roster changes, the adjustments, so that way you can gear up and be a contender next season. If you're the Lakers, that's all you can really do. Like I said it last year, year before, you're either good enough or you're not, right? It's that simple. Oh, Tyler, you want the smoke, blah, blah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't care who you play. There's teams that I'd prefer more than others. I wanted to play the Warriors. Got a lot of pushback for that. I think the Lakers are still playing right now. But we'll never know. It sucks. It's unfortunate. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.